Afternoon everybody, and welcome to another live stream. Are we live? I think I'm live now doing this, but no, it's not. This is pre-recorded. By the magic of cinema, it is actually December the 5th now. And instead of me sat here, I'm actually, let's turn that down a bit. I'm actually at Royal Wootton Bassett at the British Vintage Wireless Society meeting and auction. It's not a meeting, it's a sort of swap meet come radio jumble type thing. So I'm actually there. So hopefully I'm going to bring back lots of goodies for you to see next week. But so it is December the 5th. And I've got a treat in store for you today. I've actually recently done a repair on a Sony ICF-SW7600. Very popular radio, and I get asked a lot of questions about it. So I thought what I'd do is I'd upload a load of footage that I shot of this a while back in October actually. And the good thing about this footage is I'm actually doing the capacitors 3 different ways. So, you know, people don't like ripping electrolytics, SMD electrolytics off the boards, do they? But it can be used in some instances. Let me just whip that down a bit more. It can be used, but if you've got a corroded board, probably not the best. Anyway, enough said from me. So basically, I'm going to do it 3 ways. I'm going to take some off with the old traditional twisty method. I'm going to take some off with the soldering iron, and I'm going to use the hot air station. And I'm going to go through it in great detail and leave it up there as sort of an instructional video, really. I've done quite a few of these now. I'm no expert, so please, you know, you put your own twist on it. But hopefully you'll get something out of it. And at the end of this, I'll pop back and we'll do the Wera Advent Calendar screwdriver Advent Calendar even. You know, what the hell? Let's nip over and see what Pengui's got then for us today. On the 5th. Keep getting confused, 4th and 5th. So where's Pengui? Pengui, come in. What have you got, mate? Where's the 5th? What have you done with the 5th, Pengui? Oh, the 5th is down the bottom. Hang on then. We're going to have to go deep. There's the 5th. So let's have a look, Pengui. I'm going to have to reach over you and get this one. This is deep. I've got to go deep for this one. There's something in there. Oh, wow. What is this? This is a Benji Beerlet. Banana bread beer. Okay. Right. Let me get this on the bench. I've got the... I've still got the poor old Dan set on here at the moment, which we're going to get to. We will get back to that one. But for the minute, it's banana bread beer. So that's okay. What's this then? 5.2%. I don't know if I've had this one before. Banana bread beer. Interesting. 5.2%. Challenger and Styrian Goldings hops, lager and crystal malts. So fresh bananas pack a punch of... It's got bananas in it. That can't be right, can it? Okay. Well, there we go. So what I'm going to do is, while you're watching this, I'm going to get that down my neck. And I'll see you at the end for the Advent Calendar. Catch you in a bit. Enjoy the video. Hello everybody, welcome to an actual video. I normally only do live streaming, but I don't only do live streaming. I do videos from time to time. But this set has come in. Again, I was just going to crack on and get it done. Just pop a few videos out for my Patreons on the progress. But I thought it's about time I put another video out there. And this is a set that is quite popular in the repair community anyway, and the videos I've done on these sets in the past have done very well. So I thought I'd actually do a video on this one. So this one's come in last week. Say I've got a bit, my workload's okay at the moment, but this chap's going away on Friday for a couple of weeks, so I thought I'd crack on and get this one done. Now I've got it apart and I've already done a bit of preliminary work on it, so I just thought I'd go over what I've got here and the problems with it. So it's the usual suspects, unfortunately. This is the radio. As I say, I have stripped it apart. It's a 7600. It's an ICF-SW7600 even. Very nice radios, very popular and pretty reasonable to pick up still. But the problem, as always, is the electrolytic capacitors, and in these in particular have got sort of early generation SMD electrolytics in them. And unfortunately, if they're left too long, they will actually eat into the board and cause all sorts of trouble. There's normally battery leakage on these, but this one's absolutely immaculate. There's no problem with battery leakage. There's no dirty terminals, anything like that. It's purely electrolytics. So as I say, I have done a bit of preliminary work on it. So this is the main board that we'll be looking at. Let's put that to one side. I say preliminary. All I've done is I've taken off some of the electrolytics. Let's see if we can get it without the light shining on it. So you can see there's one here I've taken off, and I've just taken them off really to have a look at the state of the board. To be honest, I think we're lucky and we've just caught it in time, because this one over here that I've taken off, you can't really see it because the camera's, you can just about see it there where my finger is. That was fairly corroded. And what I've been trying to do with this one is I've been trying to take them off with a hot air rather than twisting them, because I found to my detriment with the ICF-SW77 that I did, with a corroded board, if you try twisting them, you're highly likely to lift a pad. So any signs of corrosion, now I'm trying to do it with the hot air. There are some that are very close to plastic components, so I can't do those with the hot air really. You know, you can sort of mask it up, but it's surprising how the hot air gets underneath masking tape. And I've got some foil tape that I use, but really for those ones that are close to plastic components, I'm going to have to try and either twist them off or lift them with a soldering iron. So we'll deal with that when I get there. So I think I've lifted 4 off so far. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 I've lifted by the looks of it. A couple of those have been to actually get the right size for the replacements, because I gave the owner 2 options with this. So I could either do it with the SMD electrolytics as the original, or I could do it with SMD tantalums for a bit more outlay for the customer, because they are expensive, tantalums. I don't know why. I suppose it's a rare metal. But this is my my box of tricks. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into the sort of setup and that, because a lot of people don't do that. They'll steam in and they won't really tell you what they're using or anything like that. So this is my SMD well, not electrolytics, but my SMD capacitors box. So in this side is all the usual SMD electrolytics, as you'd see. If I pop the overhead camera on, it'd probably be easier. So yeah, this is your normal SMD electrolytics, which are fitted to the radio at the moment. So these are mainly Panasonic. I've got a couple other brands in there, but mainly Panasonic. They're high quality, 105 degree rated. So yeah, that's those. And this is the ones that we're going to be looking at today. And I've had to order a couple in because it delayed me a little bit, but I didn't have these 2 values, 4.5 at 35 volts and 10 at 16. As long as you go slightly higher on the voltage, it's not too much of an issue, but I literally didn't have any 4.7s at all. I have in the SMD electrolytics, but not in the tantalums. And these are mainly Chemet. You can sort of see them lurking in there. There's some Vichy, I think, and a couple other brands, but they're all high quality and mostly 10%. And that's what I'll be using. So that's where we are. So I'm just going to get the camera set up and I'll show you the equipment I'm going to use to do it. So first up is my servicing mat. It's an ESD mat. Now these are subject to getting a nice zap from static. So this is an anti-static ESD safe mat. And I've got it connected here. You see I've got my wristband on. And that's connected into one of these little plugs. And that's the plug. As you can see, I've got my hand strap clipped onto that one, or wrist strap even. And I've got the desk mat on the other one. I've got one extra spare one, and that's plugged in to the mains. Obviously, the only connection is the ground pin. The other two aren't connected, they're just plastic. So that's the ESD safety setup. Okay, this is my hot air, or as they call it, Smd Rework Station. This one's from Tenma, again ESD safe. Not that I'm going to actually be touching anything. And for getting these little SMD electrolytics off, I've got this very fine angled tip. I'm not sure, it looks like it's about 4 mil, something like that. Can't remember the exact size of it off the top of my head. And temperature wise, I'm going to be running that. Actually, let's just pop it on. So I'm going to be running that at about 380. It soon gets up to temperature. Yeah, so I'll be running that about 380 and the air about halfway. You don't want to be blowing stuff off of the board, so that's the SMD Rework Station. Okay, let's begin. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take this one here off, and hopefully you'll be able to see. You can see I've put some Kapton tape around this plastic slider. I think that's the volume pot actually. There is one other one that I've got to sort, and that's inside this can, so we need to get that one out as well in a bit. But let's get this one off. Now I'm going to try and direct the hot air away from this component, so I'm going to sort of be blowing the hot air that way. I've got another component up here which is plastic, this ceramic filter, which is in a plastic encapsulated can. So I want to keep it away from there. So let's get the hot air. Get myself some tweezers. Again, these are ESD safe tweezers of the bent variety. These particular ones are made by Duratool. Although they're Duratool, they are quite expensive because they are got this coating on them to make them SMD safe. There's nothing metallic in them. Right, so let's hit the hot air on. As I say, I'm on 380, about halfway on the air. Need to get me goggles on so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to turn it around, hopefully you'll be able to see. Just heating up the board really to start with. You can see I've got my my mat here as well now. So going in a bit closer now, you can smell fishy smell, and there we are. That's the first one off. Painless. You can see there is a bit of corrosion, so while it's hot I'm going to go in and take some of the others off. These are all pretty badly corroded. If you get them too hot, they will actually go pop and lift off the board like bullets, so you need to be a little bit careful. There is some electrolytics on here as well to do. My hot air is about to go into standby. It's jumped up to 400 degrees for some reason, so let's ease that back. That one didn't want to come off really. That one's too close to there. These have got plastic formers, so that one's going to have to come off with a soldering iron. Got to be careful around this one because I've got the crystal right here. I don't really want to put a lot of heat into the crystal. Okay, so that one and that one I can't get off. These are a bit close to everything. This one I can do by the what's it called, super cap. Be careful of that. Gotta be careful of that ribbon cable holder. We don't want to melt that. And I think that's probably all the ones I can get off with a hot air. So there we go, that didn't take too long, did it? Okay, I thought I'd quickly bring you in just to show you some of the, well, the state of the board really after I've lifted some of those. You know, you can see there's definitely corrosion. You can see where stuff's leaked out. And I've not put any flux in these. That one's not looking healthy at all, but it should clean up all right. And coming across here, you can see all the muck coming out. And this one, yeah, not looking overly healthy, but there's no pads lifted anyway, that's for sure, which is all good news so far. So what we need to do next is get these other ones off. But first of all, I want to just get this this can here open. So I'm going to change soldering iron tips. I've gone for a thicker one of these. I can't remember what they call them now, but it's got a much heavier end on it. And I'm going to put the temperature up to 380 for this. And I'm just going to take this can off now. It's soldered on the back side, so I'm just going to get some braid and go along it. Just got some new braid in today actually. There we are. So there's our other electrolytic. Again, that one's pretty tight into everything, so we may do the twisty on that one. It doesn't look too, yeah, it's a bit of corrosion, so I'm going to have to do that with a soldering iron, that one. So here's that one that's inside that can that we've just done. And my soldering iron's playing up for some reason. Okay, slight hiccup with the soldering iron there. It looks like my favourite tip has packed up, which is a real pain. Anyway, we're going to get this one off with a soldering iron because it's very close to a lot of components there. And I don't know if this one's got any plastic former inside there that might melt. So I'm going to get this one off with, hopefully get it off with a soldering iron. So first thing is to just stick some flux in there, because what I want to do is just flow some fresh solder in first. The ground plane on these is very dense, so it does take a bit of heat. So I'm just going to go in here with a bit of fresh solder, just try and get that flow in. No, it's not taking that, see? Looks like it's taking now. There's a bit of corrosion on that. Yeah, that's soldered now. And same on the other side. Just a bit of solder. Don't forget, it's probably lead free, this. It's in there at the moment. So we can afford to put a bit more heat into the negative side. But we don't want to dwell too long on the positive, because there's not going to be much of a pad there on the positive side. So I think it pays to just heat the negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat it with a bit of solder on the iron and just see if I can move it up off the board. There, it's moving. There we go. So that side off. Just going to come in now, that's cooled down, into the other side. Take it off. There we are. That's the soldering iron method. That's a 22 at 6 volts. Again, no damage to the pads there. In fact, it looks healthier probably than, like, if we go over to this one. I mean, look at the state of that. And I mean, that's taken off with the hot air. But there's a bit of corrosion, so that must have been leaking a bit of electrolytic. It'll clean up okay, and there's no damage to the pads. So we got this one as well. Right, let me turn this around so I can get at it. There we are. So I'm going to do exactly the same with that. A little bit of flux. Soldering on with a bit of fresh solder on it. Just blob it on that side. It's starting to go. There we are, it's flowing in now. I'll do the other side. Yeah, that's flowed in nicely. So we'll get the tweezers again. So again, I'm doing the negative first. Don't want to move this one. There he goes. Let's do the positive. There we are. It's a little bit safer, I suppose, than the old twisty method, but twisting them off does work, provided they're not corroded. And we'll prove that on this one, shall we? Which is that one there. So again, it doesn't look like there's corrosion on the pads of that one, so I'm going to get the big pliers in. Going to need to zoom out a minute. Okay, I've gone to the other camera just so you can see what I'm up to, really. So I'm going to grab this one, hold with the pliers. And the idea is to just wiggle it. And there we are. Off it comes. No damage to the pads. Okay, let's have a look at these. That's got a bit of corrosion, so we don't really want to risk that one. That one looks okay, so we're going to go with that one. Same again. Feel one side's gone already. Oh. There we go, that's that one. No pads damaged. Try this one. I mean, in some ways it's probably less likely to damage a board doing this than it is with a soldering iron. So all we're doing is just stressing it. One side's gone, it's just hanging on the ground connection here. That one's plain hard to get. Positive's lifted, it's just the ground is hanging in there. Just lift that one with the iron. Actually, oh no, he's off. He's off. He got scared. But again, pads are fine. This one, the pad looks corroded. This one looks okay over here. So do that one. Cool. They're playing hard to get today, really. Normally they come off a lot easier. It's got to show it the soldering iron again and it will get frightened, I expect, and fall off. There we go. And this one here, same thing. There he goes. So it looks like we've just got this one left on here, and it does look like a little bit of corrosion on that one, so I'm going to do that one with a soldering iron. It's pretty close to the what's his name there? A bit of flux on top of the can. Should take that off. There we go, that's taking soda. Just pop him around. Oh, it smells, that one. Tell it's got corrosion. Yeah, it's not liking the soda, this one. And the ground plane is just soaking up the heat from the iron. Let's pop a bit more flux on that one. A bit more solder. It's really difficult to get at this one because it's right in literally next to the crystal there. Sorry if you can't see. There we go, he's coming. Come on, there you go. There he is. There we are. So that's all of the caps off. All gone. So all we've got to do now is give this board a good clean up, and I'm just going to use some braid. I'm going to go over it with some braid, and then we'll start putting the tantalums on. Okay, well, it's time now to clean up the mess that's been left behind. So I think what we'll do first of all is I'm going to tin the pads with some fresh leaded solder, and then give them a bit of a clean up. Let's get my wrist strap on again, just in case we zap anything. No, there's not a lot on here that could damage, I don't think, with static, but there is some fets on here. Yeah, it's not looking great, but I don't see any sort of real damage. It's just all a little bit dirty. So I think what we'll do is we'll put a little bit of flux down. I have got some legs to lift where I've twisted caps off, so we just need to lift them. So I put this like hoofed tip on now because it's angled and it's fairly big, so it's got a good surface area. So I'm going to go in and just knock off some of these pads a minute. Let's put a bit of flux on it. Poof, this one smells a bit. Poof. That's that one. Got another one here that it's got like a fishy smell. I don't know how else to describe it really. So I'm just going to
see if these are sort of going over with some fresh solder till it sort of sticks, which it's not. Let's use some of this flux, it's a bit more aggressive. See if I can get some solder to stick to that. Yeah, that pad's pretty corroded there. So I'm just sort of rubbing around just to, difficult to describe, but just trying to remove the corrosion. What you'll find is it'll go all brown and yucky to start with, and then as the corrosion comes off, you'll see the solder stick properly. There we go. I'll show you it on the overhead camera in a second. So this is an example of a couple pads that have got a lot of corrosion on them. So what I'm going to do, I mean this one's not too bad because I did add fresh solder into this one, but this one here I twisted off as I did that one. So we've actually got 3 there all together, look. So I'm just going to put a little bit of solder on the tip of this iron. Let's do this one first. It's just knocking those off. Then just really running the solder iron till all the pad is starting to take solder. There we are. So we don't want to dwell too long on it. This one's got legs left on it as well. Come on. Yeah, you can see that grind pad's not really taking solder at the moment. So put a bit more flux on there. Add a bit of solder in and just, here we are. And that one. Yeah, that's good. And this one, there are no legs on this, but the pads are pretty corroded, especially that one. There we are. They're all okay now. So I put fresh solder. It doesn't look particularly nice, but if I just hit it with a bit of IPA a minute, give it a once over, you'll see that the corrosion's all sort of lifted off, and we've got nice fresh pads underneath. That's absolutely filthy. So I say, you get this black debris come out once you remove the corrosion, and you're back to normal board. It's better. Just let that dry off a bit, and I'll show you the next step, which is to just remove that solder with some braid. So I don't need that thickness, we want that one there probably. Okay, so I'm just coming in with some braid now. This is fairly fine braid. Got a little bit of solder on the can of the, what's his name? Crystal. There we are. It's another clean up.
And that's pretty much the pads ready for new components.
A little bit of corrosion there, you can just see like a black spot, but that's in the actual solder mask by the looks of it.
Right, so I'm going to go on and clean all the other pads up, and then we'll start putting some components back on the board. I haven't removed the solder from the solder pads yet, but I want to get these electrolytics and this super cap off the board. So I've just put a screwdriver underneath and lifted them because they were all sort of glued down to the board. So as I say, I'm just going to get the desoldering tool and take these three out. So we've got 470 either side and 1000 in the middle.
So hopefully these are through hole as well, so they do take a bit more heat to get them going. This one in particular is on the ground plane. There's always one, isn't there? No, that one's not going to go. Okay, so two are gone. This one's just hanging on, so we're going to need to put a bit of fresh solder in that one to get it moving. That is the ground connection. If I feed in leaded solder, I don't know if this is leaded or unleaded, to be fair. So just feeding in a fresh bit of solder. So hopefully now that'll still don't want to come. I might have to shows what a good ground plane these have got, doesn't it? I mean, this is set at 380 and it's not touching this one. In fact, I can hardly pull it out. It's nearly. Just hanging on in the via the through-hole connection. There he is. That took some getting off. Okay, that's those three out. Just a super cap. They glued that thing down as well. think that's on the ground plane on the top side. Yes, it is. So we're going to have to put a fair bit of heat into that one to shift it. Got him. There we are. That's those out. Right, I'm going to crack on now and clean all the pads up, and I mean, most of those are pretty clean, but some of these where I've put fresh solder on, I'm just going to take that off with the solder braid really. Okay, well after a fair bit of more cleaning, a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? A bit more going over with the solder braid, and now hopefully you can see that all the pads are good, but no damage, no lifted pads, which is great news. Let's go through the whole board. All the pads are intact. I've removed all the solder from them. Up here. And finally down here. And what I will do is I'll re-tin those battery points, because there's just two like little pins rest on those. It's not a great method really. I really don't know why Sony did that. I suppose it's for ease of servicing, but I will clean those up and re-tin them at the end. So next I need to get the caps sorted out, and let's start putting some in. In order to solder these SMD tantalums back on, I did a bit of research last time I did one of these on my Sony ICF-SW7700. And I found this a NASA document, and it refers to different methods of soldering tantalum capacitors on, and the safest method, which is basically this optimized hand soldering. If I just scroll back a little bit, we're on Appendix B. So this gives you a little graph here showing the change in DC leakage dependent on the soldering method. So first one is convection reflow, like in a reflow oven. The next one is the standard hand soldering technique, and the third one, which is obviously the best, is the optimized hand soldering technique. And if anybody wants to see this document, you need to Google this MIL-PRF-55365 tantalum capacitors. I've read this whole document actually. It does make some good reading. And as I say, this optimized process has been developed and tested on a variety of tantalum caps. So it's basically to reduce the temperature at the expense of increased process time. So it takes a bit longer, but it does prolong the lifetime of these caps. So this is the standard one, and holding it down and then popping a bit of solder on both sides. But we're going to be using this one today, which is the optimized, and this is to apply heat for the shortest time necessary to form acceptable solder joints. It says the tantalums can be damaged by prolonged exposure to solder reflow temperatures. This is in contrast with ceramic chips, which withstand prolonged high temperature well, but can be sensitive to rapid changes in temperature. So this is the problem. They can be damaged if you take too long to solder them. So the method really is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's to tin the positive side and put in a small bit of flux. Well, it says with a small amount of flux bearing solder.
So it's not telling you to actually put extra flux on, it's telling you to use flux bearing solder, which we all use, to be fair. Do not remove the excessive flux residue, as it's going to aid the reflow process. And then with tweezers, position it so its positive terminal is lightly pressing on the pre-tin pad. Touch the junction of the positive terminal pre-tin pad with a freshly cleaned solder iron tip. As soon as the solder on the pre-tin pad reflows and wets, you can read it anyway, basically. So as soon as the solder on the pre-tin pad reflows and wets to the capacitors, positive terminal, remove the soldering iron tip, apply heat just long enough to create an acceptable solder joint. So basically we're tacking it down using the positive, because you don't need as much heat on the positive side really. And then apply a fresh clean solder tip and additional flux bearing solder to the simultaneously the capacitor's negative terminal and negative pad. Apply heat just long enough to form an acceptable solder joint. Good solder joints can be created with very little added solder. You don't need a lot of solder. You don't need a massive bridge of solder. And just going back to this this document, I was just looking for something to give an indication of solder temperature, or soldering iron temperature, and they're quoting 350 plus or minus 10 degrees centigrade. Well, I normally do it at 340, but we'll see how we go on that. And the dwell time 4 to 5 seconds. Well, I doubt whether we're going to need that long, but we'll see. So that's the plan. Okay, as per NASA, we can't really argue with NASA, can we? I'm going to now start going along and tinning all the positive pads. Now it does say that you just use flux cord solder, so we'll do that. So I'm just going to tin the positive pads. I'm not going to go through and do all these with you, but just give you an idea of what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and just tin all the positive pads, and then we'll come back and I'll pop some tantalums on. Right, here we go then. First tantalum is all lined up, ready to go. You do need to remember that on the tantalum, the little line is not the negative, it's the positive, just to confuse matters. So I'm going to pop that on the board. I'm going to see if I can do this on the camera. So it's all lined up, just going to touch the solder joint. And that's tacked. So then we go around to the other side. It's not particularly well lined up, that one, is it? But just having a look now. No, not overly happy with that one, so I'm going to have to take that one back off again, because I'm a fuss ass. So we're going to go with that's better position. And in around this way. There we are. First one done. Pretty straightforward. So that's the method I'm going to use, and I'm now going to go and put all the rest in. So I'll join me in a bit, and I'll have them. Well, I'll bring you in for a couple more in a minute, anyway. Okay, so I've got a group of 3 here to do, so I thought I'd bring you in and get the light in the best position. It should do you. So these are all 47 at 6.3 or 6 volts. So I've got 6.3 is going in. Stick me up in the corner so you can say hello to me at the same time. So I've got my old goggles on. Good stuff. Looking a bit dark actually. It's because I've messed about with the light, I think. The light's out of the way so as you can see the board. So I just need to make sure these are all in the right orientation. I've got all my negatives in the right place and my positives in the right place. I've got a picture I took earlier of these. Right, where are we? We're that way round. We're up here. No, we're that way round. And we're up here. So let me just check. So we've got a negative there. Negative. Negative. Yeah, we're right. Okay. So let's get these and put them in then. So I've changed it. I've just got a chisel tip in now. Fairly small chisel tip. They recommend a tip no bigger than 3 mil. Well, this is about 1.6 mil, I think. So I'm going to go with this one first. So that side done. Let's pop all of them in. Let's tack them all first. Gives some chance to cool back down, doesn't it? This one. Oh, just moved the tweezers there just as I soldered that one. So I'm probably going to need to give that one a little bit more flux, I would think. And the last one is going in that way around. Just swivel you around so I can get at the solder joint. It's more getting to grips with it with the tweezers more than anything. There we are. So that's all 3 tacked. So let's just go and finish them off now. You don't need a massive amount of solder. This is quite thin solder, this. So all I'm doing really is just laying the solder at, sort of onto the board. Just touching it with the soldering iron, if I can get it in there. That's one. 2. So I'm not dwelling on these for very long. Where are we? We're about there, I think. And the last one, this one's a bit tricky to get into. Yeah, more than a bit tricky. Got him. I just want to put a little bit of flux on this one here, which didn't sit properly first time, just to make sure we got a decent joint. There we go. There, another 3 done. So not that many more to do now. Okay, just bringing you in for the last 2 then. This one's a 220. 4 volts, the original. I'm going with 6.3 because it's the closest value I can get to the side. It's like dancing everywhere here because there's lots of other bits that it's knocking against. Let's see if we can get it orientate. Ah. Dear, oh dear. Right, okay. So need to be that way around. There we go. Right. They've not gone too bad, to be honest. A couple I've had to reposition because I wasn't overly happy with what they look like. But apart from that, it's all well and good. That one, it's not quite flush. There we are. Let's make sure that's the right way round as well.
Negative downwards, yes, that's right. So don't forget that the stripe is the positive on these. So it's going to lay some solder in there. There we are, that's that one done. Just give that a little touch up there. Last one's over here. Just in there. It's real tricky to get into this one, so I might have to change soldering iron tips for this one. But this is a 10 at 16. Let's make sure I've got this one the right way round. Where am I? So, according to this, the negative is facing downwards. Yeah, I've got that right way round. Right. As I say, this is real tricky, this one. This is really where I could have done with that other tip that's packed up. Okay, that's gone all right. That's that side done. Just got to get the other side. It's pretty difficult to get in here. Got it. There we are. That then is all of them done. Let's come out a little bit, and all are sort of, they're all the same colour, which is quite nice. Previously I've had to put different types in and they've been different colours, but yeah, there we are. All of them done. So that's probably it for today, because it's going on a bit time-wise. So I was hoping to get it done today, but it doesn't look like I'm going to now. So tomorrow I'm going to have to come in and do these 3 electrolytics, pop the super cap in. I'm going to pop the shield back on this one. Then I can reassemble it. Excellent stuff. Hi and welcome back. We're day 2 now. I've been busy this morning first thing. I'd forgotten to put the capacitor on the display board. So I've done that this morning. And I've also gone ahead and replaced the capacitors on the main board and also put a new super cap on. So that's all done. I've got to put the shield back on over this DC to DC converter section down here. I've got to give the display a quick clean, and then I'm going to reassemble it. So join me again in a sec. I'm now going to start putting this thing back together. I've put the shield on the back. That's all done. All nicely soldered up solid. As I say, it's had a good clean. So I've now got to put it all back together. Now it did fight quite a lot to come apart, this one, for some reason. It just didn't like it. So this one goes back in here. I've got to line the switches up. I wasn't going to sort of make this a how-to video, but it is useful if you are going to do one of these yourself to try and sort of follow along with this. I've also renewed the solder on the battery contacts in underneath. So this just clips in. I've also desoldered the area wires, so they've got to go back on. Clips in there. It's quite a tight fit there because of the springiness of the battery contacts, but that will get pulled in a minute because there's a screw that goes in and secures all that back. So they're all clipped. Make sure as well that you've lined the sliders and the switches up, because they're a bit of a pig to get back together, these, if you don't line the switches up. Now this one's got to go in here. This is a little actuator for I'll try and get this the right way around.
actuator for that switch there. So now you can see it's all hidden away. So the next thing we've got to do is pop the display board on. Now I've given that a good clean. I think finally we'll just give it a bit of a blow with the air before we actually stick it right back in. So I need to make sure that the connector, you can't really see it there, that the ribbon connector is popped up, because the ribbon cable's got to go back in there. It's a bit tricky. It can be tricky, this sometimes. Sometimes it'll go in nice and easy. Other times it's an absolute pig and it will not go in. It's going to be this time, isn't it? Being that we're filming it. There we go. Nice. I'm sure you saw that go down. And once that's done, you need to just clip it in with the holder. Make sure he's straight. Which it is. Brilliant. So that board clips in. It's got a hook underneath these two little pegs here. There we are. So we just need to make sure our switches are still in. And the volume slider, don't forget the volume slider, I've done that before. And our little switch there is still on. Brilliant, there we go. Okay, next up is the speaker. I've cleaned this one off. So that sits in there, sort of round that way. Just clips in, hopefully. There we go. And this wire just sits in that little channel. Let's just dress that around a bit better. Don't want to sit in there now, does it? Never does. That's better. Right, so we've got to solder those on. Thankfully for us, they've marked it on the back of the board, which is plus and which is minus. Let's just put a little tiny bit of flux on there. Let's get them soldered on. So minus. That's the plus. And they actually sit underneath this little bit of stuff, which is not brilliant, but just keeps them in place, I suppose. Next is the speaker wires. Again, they're marked pretty much on the board. They're pretty fine, so you'll need a bit of magnification possibly, and some tweezers for this. So I'm going to use a little bit of flux again. I'm not going to put any fresh solder on, there's plenty on there already. Black, yellow, green. Let's see if I can work these out. If not, I will have to get the pictures back out. So yellow's over there.
green. And black. And really there's only one other terminal left there to connect to, so it's got to be that one. There we are, that's those reconnected. I wonder whether that bit of tape was on this side of the board, but doesn't really matter. Right, that's that bit. So pretty much the radio's back together. Let's pop the front panel in. Let's just give that a bit of a air dust off. Make sure there's no dust on the inside. Nothing worse than dust in your screen. Let's pop it the right way around. Now this is tricky to wheel in, this, for some reason. It certainly was tricky to get out, so I'm hoping it's going to go back in easier. Well, it did. Make sure this bit's lined up. It's not quite back in there. Stopping that. There it is. We've got this little piece here goes on. Let me just give that a bit of a brush out a minute. Bit dusty. So any dust in any of these bits will end up back in the radio, so it's worth giving them a clean off. Just using an anti-static brush and a bit of air duster. Okay. Now, should I put that in first? Yes, probably should have done. So just ease that back up again. That needs to go on before you clip it in. So let me get the right way around. I did have it the right way around first time. Put that back in. Light switches in. There we are. So we've got the FM aerial makes contact over here, so it's worth just giving this a refresh as well. This little pad. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. A bit of flux. We already got the temperature, there we are, and just give that a little refresh. And deflux it. A bit of isopropyl on a cotton bud. Just get rid of any flux on there. Get a decent aerial connection then. Right, have I forgotten anything else? I don't think so. Let's give that a bit of a blowout as well.
Okay, it doesn't seem to want to go there for some reason. Let's try clipping that in first. Okay, why is that not playing ball? That's all in. That's all in. Well, yes, I did indeed have a screw loose, and I believe I've got to stick this smaller screw in the centre of the board. So I'm just popping these back out again. I have found the other screw. It's in the box. So I've got me 5 screws. Just pop this back off again, and yeah, sure enough, that's where the other screw goes. So we've got a screw in there. Right, now with 4 screws we can screw it back together, and fingers crossed this is going to work. Because this is literally, you're seeing this with me live, so, well, not live, it's recorded, so I could edit it out, couldn't I? But I'm not going to do that. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. If it doesn't work, we're in trouble. There we go, and the last one. Make sure switches all work still. Okay, right, the moment of truth. Scary stuff now. It's time to put the batteries in and see if this radio works. Now before, as I say, the problem with this was it was absolutely deaf. Not only was it deaf, there was virtually no volume. You had to basically hold the radio up to your ear to get any sound out of it at all. And it wasn't receiving any stations whatsoever. So hopefully, this is the customer's batteries. I've tested these, they are good. Battery cover. There we go then. Well, it's good, we've got that on so far, so let's pop it up. Oh yes, right. Let's go with AM 198. And we've got lots of interference here with lights and... Where are we? DX. Normal mode.
Diversity of generating.
Oh yes.
The reason why nuclear doesn't feature very, very strongly
Radio
in
4.
change committee scenarios is of course the cost. And with the cost of renewables,
So let's go
down
FM.
so far,
Classic FM 100.
renewables.
Oh yes. She's working. Oh.
Really clear focus, better funding, a relentless pursuit of perpetrators, and a clear sense that this is an urgent national policing priority. Do you Would you like to see leadership from the Home Secretary?
Plenty of volume.
Ordered a number of reviews after the killing of Sarah Everard, but would you like to see her take leadership on the way this issue is approached in the future, Laura?
So the little tuning light works as well.
Absolutely, and I think really what that shows is that
My era, it's great days, lots of memories, favourites.
I've just switched to local because it's stopping on every noise it's stopping on at the moment. So should hopefully stop around 88.
we need to see also a focus on
Brilliant. That's radio 3, I
No
believe.
regret strategy. That even if we sort of
I'll turn this light back on now, actually. You can see the display a bit better. Brilliant. Let's just stop that. Let's go to AM. Let's go 198.
orange connectors for a lot of lectures.
Let's have a scan through that. We'll get the active antenna up to give us a hand in a minute.
So this is going to cost them money. They're going to have a lifestyle that's not as complete.
Okay, so let's pop this external antenna in. Well, it's not external. It is an external. It's my Sony AN1. Let me just make sure that I am on my screen here. Yeah, I am still recording. Great stuff. Let's just pop that on. It's only doing long wave, isn't it, by the looks of it? So it should stop on 252 hopefully now with the external antenna.
Well, possibly so. Now, you're talking about cost. Now, cost is so important. I mean, the world runs on cost.
Moi j'aime bien la musique des inconnus.
It's French.
Oui, bonjour.
Childcare in nursing homes, in some hospitals.
There we go, that's RTE.
What we're doing now.
So let's just stop that a minute. Let's go up to the band.
Lack of confidence thinking.
Medium wave band now.
Dave, can we just talk to the fact this is
Oh, I've got it on local.
it's about acting on enormous
I had it still switched in local, so it's doing pretty good.
belief. Right, okay.
Bit of interference there now.
Experience that is common.
I will do that, okay?
Normal and acceptable. I'm saying it's unacceptable.
Let's
What
go.
in the
Just trying to think what. Let's go to 11 megs. Flick that onto there. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. Let's have a scan through that. Should be something around 11.9. Yeah, it's not brilliant at the moment. Let's try, see if we can get any amateurs. Don't believe this does SSB, this one.
Есть такие работы, которые ты просто делаешь для того, чтобы что-то понять, что-то осмыслить, что-то для себя подчеркнуть. А эти работы сделаны так, что брали и приманивали зрителей. То есть брали, например, 100 метров.
So I think we can say that
Of their murder. What would you do?
that works.
Every marriage has its secrets.
Good job.
Detective Superintendent Roy Grace.
There we are.
investigates. Left You Dead by Peter James. Out now in paperback.
A lot of work.
Download.
The famous five were on a GWR train.
But it now
Hello, children and Timmy.
it's now working, and it looks like our super cap's working because it's holding its time. I've not set the clock on it. Good to go. So I hope you've enjoyed that. A little bit different for me to do a sort of recorded video rather than a live one, but hopefully it's given you confidence to maybe tackle one of these sets yourself. So don't forget, thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. See you again soon. Bye for now. Okay, what do you think of the video? If you did like it, obviously give it the old thumbs up, like, subscribe, and all the rest of it. So I'm getting through the old banana beer, and what is it? It's pretty good. It's a bit different, and it does smell of bananas. Anyway, there we go. That's one advent calendar. Now we've got this big one to do. So now I can see this, but it did take me a while to find it actually. So we're looking for number 5, and it's, I don't know, you can probably see this better than I can, but it is, where are we? We're in here. We're by Santa's Ratchetlet. Number 5, come alive. Yeah, so it's a sort of square-shaped hole. Let's just get down a bit because you're not going to see it else. Get in amongst all my junk. That doesn't sound good, does it? Right. Let's get the old spudger out, and we'll, if I can get it out. There we go. Okay. What have we got there? So a Weira bit check by torsion. That must mean that we've got some screwdriver bits coming. Excellent. There you are. I don't know where exactly that fits in the case. Let's have a quick look. There must be a section for it. No, I don't think so. I think it just sits in there. Okay. We'll investigate that a bit further. So that's it for today. Don't forget, join me again tomorrow. Another live stream coming tomorrow. Not sure exactly what yet. We've got some more boxes to open. We've got the Christmas challenge from Simon of Simon's World. Shall we do that? Leave it in the comments. And yeah, feel free to leave comments and all the rest of it. Catch you soon, and have a great Christmas. And fingers crossed, I've got some goodies from the show to show you. That might be able to do that on Monday. Bye for now.